I got an attitude about the story, because somebody else's moment was hijacked. When you woke up in the morning, when all of us woke up in the morning, the story was not how great Versus was. The story was not, ooh, that was a Versus for the history books. The story was not, ooh, Versus was so good. The story is Tamar Braxton, Cash Money No Limit Versus. That, I think that did a disservice to the whole thing. Hijacked somebody else's, and I'm not implying that it was intentional. Somebody else's moment was hijacked. The next morning, none of the stories related to Versus should have had anything to do with the Tamar Braxton. First thing.
So what is...
It started with a single spectral image, a ghost of a moment, captured in the dead of night. One blurry, late-night photo, a digital whisper, posted briefly to DaBrat's story. It lived for less than 60 seconds before it was violently ripped down, but 60 seconds was more than enough. Enough to launch a torpedo straight into the heart of the entire Braxton world.at first. The internet denied it. A throwback? No. The lighting was too sharp, the energy too alive. A prank? No. The silence afterward was far too loud. But the real ones, the ones who zoomed in, who recognized the heavy-shouldered silhouette, the unmistakable posture, the way the other figure's hand was placed, those people didn't argue. They knew. This wasn't just a picture. It was an IED, an improvised explosive device of truth. The moment Toni Braxton saw it, the air left her body. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She froze, her world tilted in silence as every carefully buried secret clawed its way back to the surface, soaked in public scrutiny. Because inside that illicit, compromised frame stood two people whose paths were never meant to cross like that, Birdman and Tamar Braxton. And the one who pulled the pin, the architect of the blast, was DaBrat, the ultimate insider, the last person anyone expected to shatter the family fortress. But the real mystery isn't the betrayal, but it's a motive. Why did DaBrat expose Toni's private nightmare? Why now? Why at a moment of fragile peace? And what unseen drama unfolded behind closed doors that pushed her to inflict a humiliation so deep the Braxton name would never be the same tonight? We're not just opening the vault. We're ripping the lid clean off.
Tamar, girl, why are you wiping the sweat off of Birdman's head like that, sis? Now, as a married woman, I think I can grab the mic real quick and speak on this, because even though it may, like, she may be innocently doing it, girl, no, you don't do that. Like, the man's been performing on stage all this time, and he don't need you wiping the sweat off his head. Now, I'm hoping it was just like a gesture, but girl, y'all are all performers. Like,
The chaos didn't begin with a photo. It started weeks earlier. Quietly, secretly, like a storm no one saw forming. Toni had changed. She was distant, fragile. Even her sisters noticed. At family gatherings, during phone calls, around the dinner table, she drifted, zoned out, stared at her phone like she was waiting for something she dreaded receiving. Tamar noticed first. "Toni, what's wrong?" she asked. "Why you look like you want to cry and fight at the same time?" Toni forced a smile. "Nothing, Tay, just tired." But it wasn't exhaustion. Something inside her was slowly breaking. Weeks before DaBrat ever posted that photo, Toni had already seen it. An anonymous message. No caption. No explanation. Just the image. She deleted it. Pretended it wasn't real. Tried to move on. But her heart knew better. Toni Braxton is strong. The quiet kind of strong. The kind that hides pain behind a soft voice and a flawless smile. But this time, the pain refused to stay hidden. Late at night, she sat alone on a bed, staring at a phone. The image burned into her mind. Her chest tightened. Her hands shook. Questions haunted her. Why would Tamar? How long has this been going on? Is Birdman lying? Who sent this to me? And why now? She couldn't eat. She couldn't sleep. Performing became torture as she'd stand on stage, lights blazing, thousands cheering her name. But all she could see was that photo. That betrayal. That shadow more than once. She broke down backstage, crying quietly into her hands. "God," she whispered, "please let this not be true. Please let this be a misunderstanding. Please, not her.
Do I know where you live?
Well, of course you don't come. So
Exactly.
my
So
thing,
how would I
I know
give
where
it
you
to
live because I put down your down payment.
Beautiful.
And you've been stealing from me for the past couple years.
Because Tamar wasn't just a sister. She was Toni's baby, her heart, her mirror, her protector, and her greatest vulnerability. The thought of Tamar and Birdman, even for a moment, felt like a knife twisting in Toni's chest. The Braxton family had survived cheating scandals, broken marriages, money troubles, and emotional breakdowns. But this hit different.
Toni Braxton?
Toni Braxton, I got you on
Toni
the phone.
Braxton. No, Toni Braxton ain't never had your back.
I got Toni Braxton.
I want to be, because I want it on
No,
record.
I want to be
it on national television. You want to say I don't have your back?
You didn't have my back
Lord
when it
Jesus,
came to y'all.
Tawanda was the first to confront Toni privately. She sat beside her, lowered her voice, and said, "Toni, whatever you're going through, you don't have to do it alone. We're your sisters. Talk to us." Toni tried to hold it together, but the tears came anyway. Slow, silent, devastating. Tawanda pulled her into a hug, rubbing her back in gentle circles.
Tawanda, baby, I love her to pieces. But hide your stuff when she come over, because she snatched the wig off your head when you look the other way. She's super sneaky, clever, and crazy.
Just like she used to when they were kids. Then came Trina. Then Tracy, both confused, both emotional, both desperate for answers they weren't sure they wanted to hear.
Don't be looking like that, you snake-ass son of a gun. Okay. You're a snake, and you like controversy, and you like all of that. Okay. So why would you do that?
But Tamar was a wild card. The moment she entered the room, Toni's heart sank. She couldn't even look her in the eyes.
Matt and Tamar worked on Destination. They became close, they became friends, whatever. So if you know, the Braxtons came out last week, and Tawanda stated that Tamar slept with Toni's ex, yada yada yada. There was a versus last weekend. Tamar was on stage with Birdman, wiping off his sweat, stopping him from drinking, getting drunk, whatever. Now it's going around that Tamar and Birdman dated back in 2003, and now we know that Toni and Birdman are married.
Tamar, unaware, joked, "Why everybody look like somebody died? I don't have time today." But the second she saw Toni's face, her smile vanished. "Toni, what happened? Who hurt you?" Toni couldn't speak. Her lips trembled. Her breath shook. And in that moment, Tamar knew something big was being hidden from her. Meanwhile, DaBrat watched everything unfold. She was close enough to Tamar to know the behind-the-scenes drama. Close enough to see the lies. Close enough to reach her breaking point. So when she posted a photo, even for 60 seconds, the internet exploded. Blogs went wild. Twitter trended. Fans argued non-stop. .is at Tamar with Birdman? Why would DaBrat post this? Toni doesn't deserve this. Tamar would never do that. Birdman is messy. YouTubers released hour-long breakdowns. TikTok theorists dissected body language. Instagram pages resurfaced old interviews with captions like, "The truth always comes out, even in a flash photo." And through it all, Tamar was confused. She didn't know what picture everyone was talking about. Didn't know why Toni wasn't answering her calls. Didn't know why the world had turned on her, until she drove straight to Toni's house. Unannounced, she found Toni sitting at the dining table, staring into nothing. "Talk to me," Tamar pleaded. "Why is everybody acting weird? Why are people dragging me online for something I don't even know about?" Toni slid her phone across the table. "What is this?" Tamar's eyes widened. Her breath caught. She nearly dropped the phone. "Toni, this is not what it looks like. I swear. Why didn't you tell me?" Toni cut in. "Why didn't anyone tell me?" "Someone set this up," Tamar cried. "Someone wants us to fight. You have to believe me." Before Toni could answer, DaBrat walked in. No knock, no hesitation. "I got tired of watching Toni suffer," she said. "That's why I posted it." The room froze. "Why would you do that to me?" Tamar asked, shaking. "You know that ain't what it looks like." "Because you've been hiding things," DaBrat replied. "And Toni deserved the truth, even if it hurt. So you destroyed our family to protect her." Tamar shot back. "You don't fix things by blowing them up." Then DaBrat said the words that changed everything. "Toni, you should tell her what you've been going through." Toni's shoulders collapsed. "I thought you betrayed me," she whispered. "I've been carrying this alone, thinking you and Birdman." Tamar's eyes filled instantly. "Never," she said. "Not in my life." Not to you. Not ever. And for the first time in weeks, Toni felt relief that night after hours of crying, talking, and finally understanding the truth. The sisters sat together. No cameras, no social media, no noise. I'm sorry I doubted you, Toni said softly. I was hurting so much. And I'm sorry you carried it alone, Tamar replied. We're sisters. Even when we fight, we don't fall apart. DaBrat apologized too, admitting her loyalty, her fear, and her mistakes. And for the first time in a long time, the room felt warm again. Toni took a deep breath. Family is messy, she said, but it's ours, and we move forward together. This was never a story about betrayal. It was a story about fear. Fear of losing love. Fear of losing trust. Fear of losing the people who matter most. But it was also a story about healing, about truth, about coming back together after almost falling apart. The Braxton bond bends, but it never breaks, though. If you believe in family, forgiveness, and second chances, drop a heart in the comments. If this story touched you, leave your prayer below, because behind every headline, there's a human story.